Well, whew, what a season. This will be coming at you with the last video report of 2021. I feel like we just started this back in April talking about open water crappies, spring, can't wait till summer. Now here we are giving you your last report of the season. And I'm still gonna be doing some fishing, but I'm gonna take some traveling, gonna spend some time with the family here. We got playoff football for my boys. So my guide season at this point is over. So I'm gonna come at you, with more videos this winter, talking tips, talking strategy, talking whatever else. But for our weekly fishing report, this is it. I wanted to take a little time to recap the season, still talk about what the bite's like right now, how we're catching our fish, what worked this past week, and send you on your way for a great fall and holiday season. So a lot to look forward to the next few months. Obviously, we have Halloween for the kiddos and the adults, and Thanksgiving, ice fishing show, sports show season is about to take off in a big way, and I'll be tied up every single weekend for weeks. Love it. Can't wait to see a lot of you. If you're at a sports show and you're by the Clam Outdoors booth or ice team booth or anything in between, stop out, say hi to me, please. We'll still talk fishing. I'll still try my best to fill you in. Our first show kicks off here at the end of the month, Halloween weekend in Ramsey. That is the North Metro Ice Show at the Adrenaline Sports Center on the 30th and 31st of October. So yes, we have shows already kicking off in a few weeks. So super excited about that. Then of course we jump into the meat and potatoes of show season, where we are all over the place. Sioux Falls, back into Blaine, out to St. Paul, of course, up to Fargo. We're all over the place. So hopefully we can see some of you at some of these events. And then of course we have Christmas and New Year's, and we're ice fishing. So this is super awesome. That's the beauty of living where we do. If you're an avid outdoor person, it's kind of hard to not love living in Minnesota or Wisconsin or the Midwest. We get to open water fish for all of our favorite species. The fishing is really good. Then we get to do the ice fishing thing. We get to hunt. We get to do all the great stuff that the Midwest offers. So super cool, super excited this season. Had a lot of fun. Had some milestones on big fish. Definitely struggled at times. That's just how fishing goes. Found some consistency, and then other back-to-back weeks, I think my theme to you was inconsistency. So that's just what we deal with here, and that's just kind of how fishing goes in general. I'm going to tell you something that I haven't experienced, I believe so in my time, was how warm it's been here the last few weeks. We are now looking at the 10th of October today. It is October 10th, and it's still darn warm out. It's going to be 70-some degrees today. Our water temps are in the upper 60s. I've never seen that in the second week of October. I was bragging politely last week about how I was watching kids still swimming on Lake Minnetonka in October. Never seen that before. So how things progress here into the ice fishing season, I don't 100% know, to be honest. This is even new to me. I'm going to try to learn with you and try to chase down some of these fish, continue to pattern them. If you do have questions along the way, I still, by all means, ask you to reach out, make a comment. It doesn't have to be a fishing report. You can still hit me up with a question if you're asking about what the bite's like, what I should be throwing, all that kind of stuff. So this season, I had a lot of fun, chased on a lot of fish. I had a few guys poke fun at me about jig worm. Did you catch that fish in a jig worm last week? I didn't. It's been a while since I've really caught them on a jig worm, but I did probably overplay that technique, and the reason is because it flat out caught fish. Jig worm was my dominant presentation this summer for numbers, for big fish. That just put fish in the boat, and big ones for the camera. So the jig worm this summer for me was king. Other years it's been the drop shot, the jig, whatever it might be, but the jig worm was a dominant option, and super fun, easy way to fish as well. So this summer was awesome. I went everywhere from South Dakota, northern Minnesota, southern Minnesota, Iowa, into Wisconsin. I fished pretty much mostly the Midwest. Obviously, my home is here in the central area of Minnesota, metro area of Minnesota, where we caught a lot of our fish. It was super fun. Appreciate everybody that tuned in throughout the entire summer. I really appreciate that. I know I answered a lot of questions, had some feedback. I'm going to continue to do these. I think we're getting a good enough response that I'll continue to do my weekly fishing report every open water season. During the ice fishing season, I have some weeks where I'm super tied up at events. I may not be chasing metro fish consistently enough to feel like I should give you an awesome report. I might be all over the place chasing fish with Clam Outdoors on photo shoots, whatever it might be. So I'm not consistently here in the Twin Cities chasing fish, hence why I don't do the weekly fishing report. So maybe I'll do a weekly update. We'll see. So how did we catch our fish here this last week? We caught them a variety of ways. I'm going to show you 3 ways that we caught them on, probably the best. And we'll go from no particular order. So I just have 3 rods lined up. We caught them on the jig. We caught them throwing, I was throwing an AT jig. This is just a 3/8 ounce green pumpkin. And I caught them using this on a variety of different lakes. This is just a green pumpkin AT jig. I got a green pumpkin Mr. Twister pocket craw on the back end of this. And I'm using 30-pound braid. I got a Loomis NRX medium heavy rod, Shimano reel, and then I'm throwing that fluorocarbon on the end. And I just flipped this into a lot of different cover. I swam it, I would fish it around docks. This was just kind of a versatile option, versatile presentation, just to kind of get the job done. And I caught both largemouth and smallmouth bass on this. So this bait works exceptionally well for just a variety of situations. So that's a 3/8 ounce rattling AT jig from All Terrain. That's gonna be your workhorse, honestly, all season long. If I had to tell you one jig to tie on, you get one the whole year, it'd probably be a 3/8 ounce rattling AT green pumpkin or black and blue jig. Very versatile, easy to use, can fish it in heavy cover, can fish it around docks, can skip it, can swim it, can work it deep, can work it shallow. Great option for catching fish. Next, a buzzbait. The buzzbait really turned on the last couple weeks, and we were throwing, you can just see how beat up this white one is. I don't know if you can see on the camera. That paint's all chipped off. This is a smaller profile buzzbait, and we fished this because we were also fishing smallmouth water. We weren't fishing a big gaudy profile buzzbait. I'm throwing just a smaller white buzzbait, smaller blade, single blade, and covering a lot of water with that. These fish are starting to move up. They should be heavily moved up, but again, we talked about how late and delayed things are. 10 days, if not 2 weeks, starting to throw these buzzbaits amongst smaller weed patches around shorelines, areas that are starting to low down on the weeds. I can effectively cover water. And with this buzzbait, I was just throwing a 30-pound braided line, a 7-foot medium heavy action rod, and I'm throwing a Shimano DC, Corrado DC. I like that DC because this bait picks up wind. Anyone that throws a buzzbait knows that this bait can pick up wind. Yeah, you can just see, they're light. They don't weigh a ton of, and when you throw them, they catch that wind, and they can be havoc on your bait casting reels in windy days. So I switched to that DC, which means digitally controlled, and that allowed me to effectively throw that buzzbait there. You can see catching fish. It's been beat up. It worked. It catches pike, it catches bass, it catches green ones, it catches brown ones. So buzzbait this time of year is super fun and effective. And last but not least, the chatterbait. I'm not showing you the chatterbait to tell you that it catches fish. I think we beat that one hard this season. I'm showing you how I've made modifications to my chatterbait to match the hatch to catch some fish. I was fishing a body of water that the particular main forage, at least in my mind, was perch. 4, 5, 6 inch perch were the #1 forage, because whenever you bring a bait back to the boat, these perch were chasing it. So what I did is I took my chatterbait and really tried to key in those perch. You can see, I don't know if you can see up close, I took that gold-bladed chatterbait. It's kind of got a fire tiger perchy back, and then I took a chartreuse and green pumpkin Zacco. I actually took an inch or so off the tip of this, or half an inch off the tip of that Zacco, to shorten the profile and really give it a small little perchy look. And that's what I did. That caught a pile of fish. That caught our biggest smallmouth. That caught our biggest largemouth. I'm throwing 17-pound fluorocarbon on this rod. I got a 7.6. I'm actually throwing a 7.6 heavy action rod. This one is a heavy action rod, but it's just got more of a moderate feel to it, so I like to fish it. So a lot of guys will throw a medium heavy rod. This one is a heavy action rod, and I'm not sitting here telling you to always throw a heavy action rod. It really depends on the rod type, the action of the blank. This was a very moderate action blank, similar in some regards to a crankbait rod. So I was throwing that chatterbait, 3/8 ounce chatterbait. I shortened that tail just a little bit, made it look like a perch, and wow, did they crush that thing. Super fun, super effective way to catch fish, taking into account what these fish are feeding on and going from there. So great ways to catch fish. These patterns will continue to hold true here over the next few weeks. especially with the warmer weather. I think we're seeing 70s again this whole week. I'm gonna get out there, chase down some fish, have some fun. So, but like I said, on behalf of me, thank you so much for tuning in this entire summer. We started our first report in April, and we're ending here in the middle of October. What a blast. I had an absolute riot hanging out with everybody, fishing, seeing a lot of you on the water this summer. Hopefully you continue to say hi if you see me at a show or an event, like I said. And believe it or not, we'll be doing these again before you know it here in April. It goes fast, time flies. But between now and then, catch some fish on the ice, enjoy some time with your family, enjoy your holiday season, and we'll catch you next spring. Thanks.